some of the other berries, that are good for us, and it has to do with the oxidation that's happening. Oxidation is a process where oxygen itself is coming in and breaking up certain molecules in our bodies that we need or that are good for us. The mechanism is actually really complex with electrons and things like that, but usually when there's an oxidation that happens, we want to have the original molecule should be replaced. However, if it's happening too much, more than it should, then we may be losing more of the molecules than getting them back. And so one of the things that's happening with the mechanism, reactive oxygen species are one way of saying it. You may have heard oxidants themselves. And there are a few different chemicals, but what we think with RSD is that there's not enough oxygen that's actually within our bodies within those certain areas. And so because we're eating away, or the oxygen is eating away at those chemicals that we need, and we're not replenishing them enough, it's essentially causing tissue damage or nerve damage or things like that. And so there are different ways that that we're hoping that we can replace those tissues that are being destroyed. One thing that I've already heard the group talk about is taking vitamin C when there's a surgery that's going to be coming up or some sort of procedure. And we've shown the studies that vitamin C, or its more scientific name is ascorbic acid, actually helps with the antioxidation process from preventing oxidation from happening. And so we want, so we're always telling everyone have vitamin C before you have surgery, and it's to try to help with the healing process or to help stop the tissue breakdown from happening. And so there are a few different things in addition to vitamin C that have been proposed as antioxidants. I just sort of threw in there. Those ones have less studies behind them to back up the data, so I wouldn't recommend just going out and taking them. But there are things that are being researched out there. So, sorry.
Just throwing this out there. Costco, and I'm sure health stores and whatnot, sells. Basically, it's like concentrated pomegranate, blueberry. I mean, there's a bunch of berries and fruit with the antioxidants in there. And you take like a 1 or 2 ounce. It's basically a shot. You drink it, and when I was taking it, I haven't got it in a while, but I felt a whole bunch better, and like with pain and just all around. But I've actually experienced antioxidants helping a lot.
Yeah.
The hospital stopped carrying it though. The one that we.
Is that what happened?
Well, I'm sure I'll fix it, but yeah, it was basically a syrup that they said there's like 15 pomegranates in shot plus like 30 blueberries and
Wow.
etc.
Deborah, the Costco by us, I think, carries it. So
Oh,
if you want,
really?
we can talk later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that helped a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. Fish oil actually is another source of antioxidants that they've been doing more and more studies on and showing just the benefits of fish oil as being an antioxidant, an anti-inflammatory mediator, and actually we get ours from Costco as well.
I take fish oil too.
Yeah.
What about that algae now?
Yeah, I've read a little bit about it.
Red algae.
Yeah.
Red, I'm not sure red algae. I've heard of it. I even know of semolina. But,
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's algae.
It's supposed to be a new improvement, better algae than the other one, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Blue green's
But I know.
got some downside stuff. It's long
Yeah.
story, but.
Yeah.
So, Dane, I have a question.
Sure.
Now, Bill goes in the hot tub, he tries to go in like every night. And do you think that that's kind of a detox?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a detox. It could be. I think it's probably good though, just to relax the muscles themselves. Is a good thing to do. I mean, especially if it's working. If you're just doing it for the hell of it, I mean, then whatever. But if you're doing it because it's actually helping, yeah. I mean, what it's doing essentially, although it's raising your temperature, which could then stimulate the blood pressure and heart rate, but that's probably if you're in there for like an hour or two or longer, things like that, to actually raise your internal temperature. If you're just in there for like a half hour, an hour, then it's relaxing the muscle tissue. Sorry, my mouth is getting
It's also
dry.
hydrotherapy.
What's
Right.
that?
Hydrotherapy.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, it's
Oh, I love
relaxing
it,
for me
yeah.
too.
It's great.
Summertime.
Miss my hot tub.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean-
generally 15 minutes, 20 minutes is all you're supposed to really be in there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you're relaxing your muscles, you're relaxing the ligaments that attach to the muscles, you're relaxing many other attachments in there that are like your blood vessels, the collagen within them, and through them, relaxing many different things. But if you're only doing it for a short amount of time, it can be very good. That's what I was just saying. If you did it for like hours on end, it could
But-
then cause bad effects. But for just a short amount of time, it's
Yeah.
very good.
Well, we try to do like 15 minutes, that's what's recommended.
Yeah.
And then, but you know how like when you're sweating, when you're sweating normally, don't you sweat out toxins? Like isn't the mechanism of sweating getting rid of some of the bad things that are in your body, or no?
Somewhat. It's more actually to help us cool down is
Okay.
what's happening. Our bodies are becoming so hot that we're trying to cool them down with sweat. That's why we're releasing the water within us. See, that's the actual mechanism of how it happens. We do release like sodium and chloride and things like that as well. So there are a few electrolytes that are released, but unless it was a concentrated amount, I wouldn't think that a whole lot of toxins or things like that could be being released, but I can't say for sure.
Oh, is that different from a sauna, or because you always hear how saunas are?
I think actually a sauna is more the purpose of it is more like a spa itself, or like a jacuzzi or a hot tub. I think that's more the purpose of it is to help us relax. You may not have the water in the traditional sense that we're going into, but we're having so much hot vapor around us, which itself is just water in a different type of form.
So that's steam room, I'm talking about sauna, just a hot box.
Yeah.
Just go in there. It's a dry. It's not.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, though, I mean, it's heating us up to stimulate the sweat,
Yeah.
and although we are releasing out electrolytes and such, I think it's just helping us similar to what a hot tub.
So they're
does.
obviously the same.
Yeah, pretty similar. But I mean, it's to help us, relax though, and any of the forms long in a short duration is going to be good for us to do. So. Yeah.
Like, with soaking, I don't think you want to put it in your hot tub, but Epsom salt.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of people making a paste out of the Epsom salt and like kind of painting it on? I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if it works. A paste out of it, like adding just the boiling water and like painting it on.
Oh, really?
And it's supposed to help with the pain. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, but yeah, you can do your, whatever, your arm where you can do it in pockets. Just relax.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, when we are relaxed, one of the hormones in our body that you constantly hear is the stress hormone is cortisol. Cortisol is released when we're stressed, and in a way, it's good because we do need stress in certain occasions. Like at least for me, when I'm under a deadline for an exam coming up, that stress helps me to motivate myself to study. However, I think I'm producing too much cortisol because Jen can know how stressed I get at times, and so there's too much cortisol that's being released, and so actually I forgot what I was going to go and say about that.
Sometimes it's good to release cortisol because
Yeah, sometimes it's good, but when it gets to a level that we can't handle, it can almost overwhelm and overtake us. So doing things that help relieve and decrease the amount of cortisol and other stress hormones as well is essentially a good way to relieve our stress. And so physiologically, that's what we're trying to do is not only relax the muscles, but decrease the amount of cortisol and a few other hormones and mediators that are stimulating stress in our body. So I definitely recommend the hot baths or the saunas and such, as well as vitamin C, because like I said, it's so far the only one that has shown with quite a bit of research showing that it is an antioxidant to help when we're having surgeries or things like that. That being said, it's hard to say how much one should take, and so if you're anything in moderation could be good, but anything in excess could be bad. So although before you have a procedure or surgery of some sort, it would be good to take extra vitamin C, I would say to probably go with however much is on the label of the bottle, like to follow those guidelines. If you want to take more, you can. I would say to be very careful, and whoever is going to be doing that procedure, to let them know, because if they're going to be having to administer anesthesia or anything like that, it could interact with whatever they're administering. So just kind of let them know, hey, for the last week I've been taking higher doses of vitamin C, just to help with the healing
So
process.
if you take a regular dose, you don't have to tell them?
I would tell them
I'm
anything.
just asking.
I would tell them
anyway, or?
Yeah, I would say tell them regardless of any dose, let them know everything you're taking, including vitamins or supplements, because yeah, there are ones that can interact. You think like, oh, it's just a vitamin or it's a supplement. Let's say like a St. John's wort. That's a lot of times that people will take for mood or for anxiety or things like that. But let's say someone's giving you anesthesia. St. John's wort increases the amount of serotonin we have. And then some anesthetics also increase the amount of serotonin. And so if we're already having that high level of serotonin from medications we're taking, plus the St. John's wort, plus the anesthesia, it can get to a very dangerous level and actually cause what's known as serotonin syndrome, which then can, an overdose, it can lead to coma, it can lead to severe cardiovascular effects like arrhythmias and heart attacks. It can be very dangerous. So that's why even vitamins or supplements, you always want to let your healthcare provider know that you're taking. I mean, because also they could be ones that not only are just okay, but there are even vitamins or supplements because they're not FDA regulated that could be bad for you for a specific reason that maybe could affect the RSD. So it's always good to let healthcare providers know, even if they're telling you, hey, like I don't think you should be taking this, but you still want to. It'd be good to just let them know, because let's say there was an emergency down the road, it could have something to do with that emergency. So just to let people know. Yeah. Sorry.
Do you think getting vitamin C and whatnot, other vitamins, is better to get it from a supplement or a vitamin or a pill or from a natural source, considering like absorption rate? I saw some study about vitamins.
Like getting it from oranges as opposed to
yeah.
Yeah, I do think, I mean, if you can go natural, it would be better. However, then when you're getting it from like oranges or grapefruit or things like that, you're getting all the sugar and things like that that's in there as well. So it's a bit of a toss-up, because the natural source, yes, is best, but then you're getting all the other sugars and anything else that can be in there, versus you're getting maybe the less pure source, but there could also be other additives that are put in there as well. So I would say if you're going to get it from like an actual supplement, I would do some research, find one that's more reputable, that has good reviews from people and doesn't have any like class action lawsuits or anything like that you can find.
Is it USP?
And you want to make sure that it's, like if you're going for vitamin C, that it's pure vitamin C and not vitamin C and have, something else.
Yeah, especially because there are certain vitamins and supplements that in excess are not good for you. Like, and of course, like the government changes its mind every 10 years about how much is good for you and what isn't. Because I remember when I was a kid, vitamin E was fine. In fact, I remember to be told by certain people overdose in vitamin E because it's great for your skin and things like that, and decreases acne. And then 10 years later, they're like, well, too much vitamin E is really bad for your heart. So it's like, oh great, I was overdosing on vitamin E for years. But then now they're saying it could actually be heart healthy. So I know that they change guidelines and things like that all the time. So that's why everything in moderation. Whenever, just like Jen said, be careful with also what you're taking. Usually, go with I would say spend some time like really looking one up, because there are a few like supplements that we take, and either they're recommended to us from